Okay. 10.5, surface area of prisms and cylinders. Okay, you guys know what a prism and a cylinder looks like? Yeah. Okay, we have lots of different shapes we can use too. Okay, surface area. Have you guys done surface area before? Yeah. Remember a little bit about surface area. Okay, we got cylinders, right? We've got prisms, rectangular, triangular, lots of different prisms. Okay, surface area is the sum of the areas of its faces. Okay? And then we can break stuff down into things called nets. Nets are a two-dimensional representation of a solid. Okay? You have to pretend all my drawings are perfect, you know? Oh. Okay, so we are going to start with nets. Okay, if I have a pizza box, okay, and I break it down into its net, meaning it's like all the pieces laid out flat. You know, like when you go to recycle something, you squash it all. Okay, I want to figure out what the surface area is. Off of that net, how can I figure out what this surface area is? What do you think? What could I do? You add all the what? No, not all the sides.
Faces.
All the areas of the faces. How do you find the area of a face? Here's a face right here. What is the dimensions of this face? 16, and what's this bottom part? 16. So I have a 16 by 16. How do I find the area of that?
66.
Okay. What's 16 times 16? I know. It's what? 256? Okay. So this one is 256 right here, inches squared, right? Which means this square down here also is 256 inches squared. Okay? This here is 2 inches by what? 16. So what's 2 times 16? 32. So this is 32 inches squared, which means this one down here is, which means this one over here is, and this one is. So I'm taking all of those and I'm adding them together. 256 plus 256 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 32s, right? Okay, what does that give me when I add all those together? What? 640 inches squared. No, she probably did in her calculator. So when I'm finding surface area using net, you're just finding the area of each smaller object and then adding them together. Okay? It's pretty simple. So if they give you a net, you're literally finding the areas of the triangles, the squares, the rectangles, whatever it is they give you. Maybe an area of a circle. Because if I have a cylinder, right, I have a circle here and a circle here. So I have to find the areas of the circles first and then the rectangle. Okay. Lateral faces. A lateral face is a face that faces that are not the bases. Not the bases. Okay? Faces that are not the bases. Okay? Faces that are not the bases. Lateral area is the sum of the areas of the lateral faces. Lateral area is the sum of the areas of the lateral faces. So it's added all the sides except for the what? Except for your bases. Okay, except for your bases. Okay? If I'm finding the surface area of a prism, I find that the surface area equals 2 times the bases, but B, when it says B like that with bases, that's the area of the bases. So 2 times the area of the bases, okay? The big B stands for the area of bases. So 2 times that, because I have 2 bases, plus, what do you think that P stands for? When we're using shapes and stuff, we can find areas and we can find what else off of a shape that starts with a P. The perimeter. It's the perimeter. So this is your perimeter, and what do you think the H stands for?
Height.
Height.
We add those?
You multiply these together, the perimeter and the height, and you add it to 2 times the area of the bases. Okay? So if I have this shape here, a triangular prism, okay, and it says find the surface area, and I know that this height is 6, this is 8, this is 18, that's 10. How can I solve that? What are my bases, first of all? What do you think my bases are?
18.
Now listen, you have to have 2 bases. 2, right? Because it's 2 times the base. Is there another base right up top that looks like this rectangle down here with 18 and 8? No, because it's diagonal, right? So my bases aren't the rectangle on this. What are my bases? Yeah, the triangle. Okay? Okay, because there's 2 of those. How do you find the area of a triangle? So the surface area equals 2 times 1/2, what? 6 times 8, right? Just to find the area of a triangle, you do base times height divided by 2, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then I'm adding it to what? What am I adding it to? How do I find the rest of that surface area? The what times what?
The height.
The perimeter times the height. What is the perimeter of this shape? What is the perimeter of my base? 6 plus 8 plus, plus 10.
24.
Okay, so it's 6 plus 8 plus 10, and then what would be my height of this shape then?
24. Oh, no.
18. Yes, 18. Okay, so you have to think a little bit backwards because you guys think the base is what it's sitting on, but it's not always what it's sitting on. Okay, because you have to locate where the 2 of the same are and then go from there. Now, let's do this. What's 6 times 8?
48.
48 divided by 2
24.
times 2.
48.
So that's 48 centimeters squared right there. What's 6 plus 8 plus 10 there, E?
24.
And then what's 24 times 18?
432.
What's 24 times 18?
432.
432 centimeters squared. And then if I
480.
add those together, I get
480.
480 centimeters squared. And that is my surface area. Cool? Okay. Now, that's for a prism. We have a different formula for a cylinder because a cylinder involves what shape? Circles. And circles have different formulas for area, right? We have to. What is the area of a circle? Pi r squared. Pi r squared. Okay. So the lateral surface is the curved surface of a cylinder. So it's this whole curved part. Okay. The lateral area is the area of the lateral surface. So it's the area of the curved part. Okay. So if I am finding that, okay, the formula for that is 2 times the area of the base, because it's got that big B again, okay? Area of base. What do you think this big C stands for? Think about circles.
Circumference.
Circumference, okay? So the big C stands for the circumference, right? And what does the H stand for?
Height.
Height. Okay, so this is my circumference,
Yeah.
and this is my height. Now, question, what is the formula for circumference?
Square.
C
No, it's
equals
2 pi r
Or what?
or
C equals D pi.
Yeah, d times pi, right? Okay, so it depends if you have your diameter or if you have your radius, which one you're going to use. Cool? So we basically are subbing this whole formula in for that. So if I rewrote it, it would say surface area equals 2 times the area of the base plus 2 pi r, I'm just going to use that one right now, times the height. Okay? So if it says find the surface area of this cylinder, how do I set that up? What are your bases of this cylinder?
2.5.
It's the circles, right? The circles. So I have, if I'm doing surface area for this one, I have 2 times, and you said 2.5 is my, or my circles are my base. What is the formula for the area of a circle again?
C equals pi r squared.
Pi r squared. What is my r? If my diameter is 2.5, what's my r? What's half of 2.5?
1.25.
Okay, so I have 1.25 squared, right? Okay, we'll come back to that in a second. Then I add it to my circumference times my height, right? What is my circumference of this?
No.
Which formula do you want to use? This one or that one?
That
The
D,
pi.
D.
So 2.5 times pi. And then it's times my height, which is, what's my height? 5.
Five.
Okay, now let's do this. Do for me in your calculator, do in this order. Do 1.25 squared, and then multiply that by pi, and then multiply that by 2 and tell me what you get. 1.25 squared, and then you multiply by pi, Emma, and then multiply by 2. What'd you get? That's fine. Tell me what your lot of numbers are.
9.8174.
Okay, 9.81 is where 9.817 is that what it was? So 9.82 is where we're going to round to. Okay. Plus, now do this. Do 2.5 times pi,
7.8.
and then multiply it by 5.
39.26.
You got 39 point what?
26.
Okay, now add 39.26 to 9.82. What do you get?
49.08. 49.08.
49.08 inches squared.
Yeah.
Listen, hey, listen to me. On your homework, okay? When I read the answers to you tomorrow when we come back and check our homework, follow the instruction of what the book says. If it tells you to round your answers to the nearest whole number, round it up to the nearest whole number. If it tells you to round it to 1 decimal place, do that for me, okay? But our answers could be a little off because if we use 3.14 instead of the pi button, our answer is going to change a little bit, okay, because we're going to round differently. But I think on your homework, it tells us to round to the nearest whole number on all of them so that we'll all just round up or round down, okay? So that is what we're doing today, okay? Now listen, you need to start memorizing these formulas because I took a look at the quiz that Mrs. McCain made, okay, for her class and the test that she made. And the quiz says this at the top. Okay, for 10.5 through 10.8. For all problems, write the formula.
Oh, Lord.
Substitute the numbers for the letters, calculate, and label appropriately. You have to know the formulas. Do you get what I'm saying? That is not my rule. That is Mrs. McCain's rule.
I ain't trying to do that. That was all acting.
Okay? So you must memorize the formulas on this stuff. Okay?